Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone, wherever you're tuning in from, and welcome to day 1800 in the Daily Antidote of Song. I'm Katie Aboudou, and I'm really excited to be hosting you guys today. I've been with the Daily Antidote for a few years now, with some time on and off. Thank you so much to Carpe Diem Arts for keeping it going. And let's start welcoming people into the room. Hello to our artist today, Lynn, coming in from Toronto, Canada. Joe in Florida. Ariana, I think in LA, coming in. All right. Good morning, Jonathan in Rhode Island. Susan G in Cincinnati. And Laris coming in from the UK. Bonnie in Boise. Susan Miller in Seattle. Jan in Massachusetts. Danielle coming in from somewhere in the virtual world. Hello. Arlene in Berkeley and Athena in Brooklyn. Nan in Michigan. Sarah in Texas. Hello. Lisa in Clarksville. Linda on Orcas Island. Julie Alexander. Aloysius in Massachusetts. And Kathy in Colorado. Hello. Hoda in British Columbia. Nancy in Washington State. Greg in Maryland. Deborah in Kentucky, Trish in Victoria, BC. Hello. On to page 2. Let's see. We have Julie Alexander. Welcome to you. Deborah, saw you. Trish, Victoria. Caroline in DC. Fred in Silver Spring. My neighbor Storm in Massachusetts, Becky Kane coming in from BC, Anne in Silver Spring, Gary Pausner, Jenny in Suffolk, UK, Kat in Vermont, Elizabeth in California, Bob in Albany, Carol in Connecticut, Carl Coleman coming in, new face perhaps, hello. Bob, Mabel and the Bears coming in from Massachusetts. Adele on her iPhone. Carolyn in Boise, Idaho, day 1800. Annette in California, and some people still connecting to audio. Let's see, is that everyone? Tusi, I believe. I hope I'm saying your name right. Hello, welcome. So let's welcome everybody to the Daily Antidote of Song. So happy to be here with you all today. We have Lynn Harrison, who will be singing a wonderful song for us today. So welcome, Lynn.
Thank
To
you.
the Daily Antidote. And why don't you get us started?
Absolutely. So I'm going to be sharing a song with you today. We're here celebrating International Women's Month and celebrating women's history. So this is a song that I wrote in tribute to an activist and writer, a Canadian activist and writer who passed away in 2007. Her name was June Callwood. And I want to teach you the chorus so that you can sing along easily, and then I'll sing the whole song for you. So the chorus goes like this. A little more awake, a little more alive, more willing to create more room. I'm going to do that part again. A little more awake, a little more alive, more willing to create more room. Very good. And here's the second part of the chorus. Till everyone's embraced and this whole world survives. You got that one part again? Till everyone's embraced and this whole world survives. Here's the last part. To see a day a little more like June. Here's the last part again. To see a day a little more like June. I see people singing along. It looks like you've got it. So I'm going to sing the whole song through, and then I'll talk about it with Katie, and we'll have a chance to sing it together again later in the program. So here we go. I feel a kinder breeze, a sweetly warming sun. It's like a hand that reaches out to everyone on this winter afternoon that feels a little more like June. The sun extends a smile that lights the city skies. It shines on us a while, and soon we realize so much is now in bloom. It feels a little more like June. A little more awake, a little more alive, more willing to create more room, till everyone's embraced and this whole world survives to see a day a little more like June. We'll drive away the chill that lingers in the air. Compassion and goodwill burn brighter than despair. Oh, the time is opportune to be a little more like June. And if I raise my voice, I dare to make it strong. If you and I can join to right another wrong, then this humble little tune might sound a little more like June. A little more awake, a little more alive, more willing to create more room, till everyone's embraced and this whole world survives to see a day a little more like what we've all been waiting for, to see a day a little more like June. Oh, thanks so much, everyone. Thanks for singing along.
That was so delightful and uplifting.
Thank you. And it's a springtime song, too. That's why I wanted to bring it to you today. The original lyric, I changed it to winter, but it's probably not winter for most of you. The original lyric is April afternoon. Maybe I'll sing it that way the second time. April afternoon that looks a little more like June. So, yeah, I'm looking around and I'm seeing sunshine streaming in the windows of a lot of the folks here. So, and here in Toronto, it's a sunny day. So I hope that suits the mood today, the springtime mood.
It sure does. It's sunny here. I'm in Maryland, and it is sunny, and it's getting very warm. It's going to be warm this week. So this feels like the right song to be listening to. The crocuses, they're starting to pop. The tulips are just budding out of the ground. The daffodils haven't opened yet, but they're ready.
But they're on their way. That's great. That's great.
Yeah. So you're coming in from Toronto, and it's warm
Yeah.
up there too, huh?
That's right. Yeah, it's warm. It's warmish. Warmish. It's still. I'm not sure what exactly the temperature is. It's not much for above zero, but we're getting there. We're warming up a little bit, which is needed. It seems like people's moods need a little bit of nurture, like those flowers. So, music can certainly do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it can. How did you, what inspired you to write this song?
Sure. Well, so June Callwood, she was a woman who was a journalist and a writer and an activist, and she started about they say about 50 different organizations, social organizations, either founded them or co-founded them in Canada, which is really extraordinary. Some of them, so the very first HIV/AIDS hospice called Casey House. She started a women's shelter called Nellie's. She started as well, and another shelter called Jessie's, which was oriented toward young women in particular, starting with teenage girls. So she was a writer, and I met her when I was 20 years old. And if we have, I can tell you a story about how she influenced me. She really made it a really important influence on my life. So when I was about 20 years old, I'll play along a little bit as I speak. I was in university and I won a scholarship, and one of the parts of the prizes was that I got to sit down with this, really well-known person, June. And she said, "Well, what are your aspirations? What do you want to do with your life?" And I said, "Well, I want to be a writer." And I was very young and perky and ambitious. And she just took one look at me and she said, "Well, but why do you want to be a writer? What do you want to write about?" And the point was that you need to use your talents for social good. And that was such an important message for me to hear at a really important time in my life. And it's always stuck with me. And even as I've grown into writing primarily as a songwriter, but I'm a Unitarian minister as well, I use my music for social purposes too. It's more natural to me, or I remember that example, not just using music and the arts simply for entertainment, as much as that's really important, but that it can also really be used as a force of good in the world. And that she was such an example in that way, and she held me to that standard even at that early time. So I remember her, and she passed away in 2007. At the time, I was writing a song a week for a community radio station, and I could write a song about any event that I felt was worth honoring, and it was important to honor her. It took me a long time to write the song because I wanted to get it right. Went through many, 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 many drafts till I felt that I got it right in a way that would pay tribute to her appropriately.
Mm. The lyrics are beautiful, and to have come from a young person is really cool, a younger you. And you're still writing a song a week. You're doing that now? You're challenging yourself?
Yeah, so I when and now that things have become so intense and challenging in the world, I find that creativity is one of the most healing and therapeutic ways that I can stay active and engaged in the world. And my medium happens to be songwriting. Others, I know, paint and write poetry and do all kinds of things, and there are all kinds of ways to be creative. But I find that when when I'm just kind of flowing, I'm happiest when I'm writing songs. So when I gave myself that challenge, when I said, I'd like to see what comes of this time, and I'd like to share it with other people. I could do it myself, and at the same time, I would just like to offer it up and see what happens. So it's new. It's new. The Substack is. I think I've posted 6 songs so far. I think I'll post the seventh one today or tomorrow. And I would love people to come and listen. And it's free. It's free to subscribe if you'd like to. I write a little essay about each one, or little commentary about what inspired the song. So, yeah.
That's wonderful. I'm still learning about Substacks, and so I'm eager to sign up and see yours.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks. Well, and it's a little intimidating because there's so many really great big people on Substack. So, we offer our humble thing. So, anyway, I seems to be going okay so far.
Good. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. So, writing is a spiritual practice for you, and you're also a minister.
Yeah.
Wow. How do you stay positive in these times? I guess by making music and sharing it with folks.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, I can say I have my ups and downs too, and I think sometimes when I'm in ministry, people kind of assume maybe that I'm always feeling positive. Well, not true. I definitely have my difficult days. I do find that the difficulties have shed a light on the good stuff. It's like we see the shadows more clearly. And you know what? We see the light too. We see the kindness in other people. We see the compassion where it is. We see people coming together in ways that are often really unexpected and healing. We see community groups forming. We see action taking place here in Canada. Of course, I'm sure you're all aware. uh, we've certainly been affected by what's going on south of the border, and actually, there's been a real upswell of I would say healthy patriotism. Like love of home and country and protection of home in a way that's nurturing and good. There can be negative stuff too. I'm not a big fan of booing at hockey games, I have to say. It's not,
I heard
not
about
really
that.
not my favorite way of expressing things. But at the same time, celebrating Canadian values, trying to protect them, trying to make sure that our safety net is stays secure. These things have been really important for us. And also for myself personally, I'm a dual citizen. I was born in Dallas, Texas. It's really important for me and for others I know to maintain the ties with our American friends and relatives because I really feel that this is probably a temporary glitch, that our relationship will be once again strong and stable. And I certainly hope and pray that that is the case. So yeah, just hands across the border to you there.
Yeah, thank you. I will reach out and virtually grab your hands.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy. So, what do you have coming up that anyone who's streaming or tuning in or anyone in the room can maybe come and check out? Anything live going on?
If you're in the Toronto area, there is a concert coming up at the Transact Club on Saturday, March the 15th. It's a Chapel of Song concert. I call things Chapel of Song, it seems. And I'll be singing on the theme of transitions. So songs all connected to transitions with a special guest, Alex Sinclair, who's best known for his work with Tamarack, the group in Canada. And yeah, just again, the Substack is kind of a nice thing because every week there'll be a new song, and you can always reach out and be in touch. And if there are other events like this that people know about that I could tie into even from a distance, would love to hear about that. So
That'd be great. Are there any other platforms we can find your music on?
sure, let's see, YouTube and
Okay.
Bandcamp.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm still on Spotify. Have mixed feelings about that, but you can find me very easily there too. Yeah, and do feel free to reach out if there's something that you've heard that you can't find. Many of my songs are recorded, and many of them aren't as well, because I write a lot of songs that not all of them are formally recorded, but it's nice to have different places to play them, both live and virtually.
I've got a question for you. How do you decide to record or not to record? What is
Yeah,
the,
yeah.
how do you decide?
Well, for myself, that's a really interesting question because I think now for myself, immediacy is really important. It's like, okay, I'd like to write a song this week. Well, I mean, last week or 2 weeks ago, I wrote a song inspired by the encounter at the White House with Volodymyr Zelensky. Okay, so very important that I wrote that song and then I shared it with people in an immediate kind of way.
Mm.
Now, by the time I got around to recording anything formally, I don't know, would that fit on an album? I'm not sure. I don't know. It's all changing so fast. The main thing that's important for me is to figure out how is the song going to be of service in the most immediate and efficient way. Because if I'm looking at it, and I'm going back to June Callwood here, why am I writing songs? Am I writing songs to get famous? Or am I writing songs to understand myself and the world and writing them to share them with others? If it's the second one, then my job is to figure out how I can share that most effectively and efficiently. And it might be, yesterday I shared this song also in a room full of women celebrating International Women's Day, and there were 8 of us, right? And it was only 8 people, but it was a circle. And then when there's a few people here from the UU congregation of Durham. I wanna give you a shout out, Danielle and Carl. I share songs there, and at other Unitarian congregations that may or may not ever get formally recorded,
Mm.
and that's okay. This one is formally recorded. You can find it. It's on a record called Simplicity, which I think came out in, I'm not sure when, but anyway.
Well, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, that's all. Yeah, I'm also working on a book which I'm hoping will come out this year too, called "Songwriting as Soul Work." Songwriting is for the soul. It is not for fame and fortune, it is for the soul.
We will keep our eyes peeled and for when that's out and spread the word, certainly in this room and as far as we can.
Thank you so much, Katie. It's really a pleasure to be here. Shall I sing the song again and invite you to sing along?
Yes, please.
And I'll see if I can repeat the chorus the last time another time. I don't know if I have the skill. I'll try. Okay. I feel a kinder breeze, a sweetly warming sun. It's like a hand that reaches out to everyone on this April afternoon that feels a little more like June. The sun extends a smile that lights the city skies. It shines on us a while, and soon we realize so much is now in bloom. It looks a little more like June. A little more awake, a little more alive, more willing to create more room, till everyone's embraced and this whole world survives to see a day a little more like June. We'll drive away the chill that lingers in the air. Compassion and goodwill burn brighter than despair. Oh, the time is opportune to be a little more like June. So if I raise my voice, I dare to make it strong. If you and I can join to right another wrong, then this humble little tune might sound a little more like June. A little more awake, a little more alive, more willing to create more room, till everyone's embraced and this whole world survives to see a day a little more like June. One more time. A little more awake, a little more alive, more willing to create more room, till everyone's embraced and this whole world survives to see a day a little more like what we've all been waiting for, to see a day a little more like June. Thank you all so very much. It's just such a pleasure to be here with you today.
Oh, Lynn, thank you for coming in today and celebrating Women's History Month with us.
Thank you. Thank you.
What a
And it's a
beautiful.
whole month. We're still early in the month.
Yeah.
Much more women's history to come. Absolutely.
Thank goodness.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Indeed.
Well, thank you so much more for being here. Thank you again so much for being here. It is so great to have met you, and I hope to see you again.
I do too, Katie. It's been a great joy. Thank you very much. Thank you, Joe. And, honestly, hats off to you for keeping this going. This is such a tremendous service and gift that you're giving to the world. So glad to be part of it.
Thank you, Joe. And we really hope that everyone can come back soon. So I've got a little list here of folks that are going to be showing up later in the week. We will have Peter and Mary Alice Amadon coming in, Kathy Bullock. We'll have two new artists as well, Allie Burns and Malara, and much more. So be sure to come back in for the Daily Antidote, everybody. And okay, it's that time. It was so great to be here with everybody for day 1800. Thank you, Carpe Diem Arts, for keeping this going. Thank you, Joe, for keeping this going, coming in from Florida. Lynn Harrison, coming in from Toronto. Thank you so much for being here. Woo. Ariana, thank you for doing your all the work today in the chat and behind the screen for us. All right, Susan G in Cincinnati. See you soon. Blaris in UK, Bonnie in Boise, Idaho, Sue in Seattle, Jan in Massachusetts, and Arlene calling in from Berkeley. See you soon. Athena in Brooklyn, New York, day 1800. Whoop whoop. See you soon. Baba Jim calling in from Maryland, Sarah in Texas, Linda on Orcas Island, and Becky Kane in BC. See you soon. Carl in Ontario, Julie in Ontario, Kevin Ennis calling in from New Hampshire. I hope you can feel better soon. See you soon. Hoda in British Columbia, Greg in Maryland, Caroline in DC, Bob, Mabel, and the Backup Bears. See you guys coming in from Massachusetts. Annette in California, Danielle in Ontario, and Jonathan in Rhode Island. Thanks for coming in today. See you soon. Next page, we've got Carolyn in Boise, Idaho. See you soon. Nan in Michigan, Trish in Victoria, BC, Storm in Massachusetts, Kathy in Colorado, and Deborah in Kentucky. See you soon. Fred in Silver Spring and in Silver Spring too. See you both soon, I hope. Kathy in California, Aloysius in Massachusetts, and Nancy in Washington State. Gary Pausner, good to see you. Jenny in Suffolk, UK, Kat in Vermont, Elizabeth in California, Carol in Connecticut, Phil and William coming in from the UK. Good evening to you. Ray, Joe's mom, whoop whoop, calling in from Florida, LMG in Connecticut, Martha in Oregon, and the Curly Tops calling in from Vermont. That's everybody. Goodbye to those of you that have been streaming online, and be sure to come back tomorrow for another daily antidote of song.